Hey, I'm Neil Smith, the Dandy DJ out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and today we're going to swap out the circuit boards on some Ape lights here and see if we can't get them to play nice again. Come along, it'll be fun. Now, before we start, I figure I ought to show you exactly what is wrong with it. So I'm going to turn it on. It should be. Okay. So therefore, we are going to bring up the intensity a little bit. The battery's probably a little down right now as well. Oh, there we go. Yeah, when it goes out like that, you know you've got some bad diodes. Okay, so we're going to pull this thing apart, and we're going to swap out the entire circuit board on this thing. Turn that thing off, and here we go. Okay, so first off, excuse the up the nostril shot. That one always bugs me, but I'm working at my kitchen table, and I wanted you to have a nice stable shot for when I do this. Okay, Ape cans. How these things come apart. Okay, you unscrew the bottom, not the top. The top's only for swapping out the lens. Alright, here we go. Now we're cooking with gas. And here comes the whole assembly. And we're going to take a look at this too. And there it is. And this thing is just a lens and an empty shell. Okay, we'll set that aside. And this is what we've got here. And there's the battery compartment. As you can see, it takes just AA batteries. These are rechargeable AA batteries. These are the Ape branded batteries. And this thing just sits in there loosely. Well, I mean, it's a little bit snug in there, but it just loosely fits in there. I would kind of like to see that properly secured down, but you have to get the batteries on both sides of the pack. So it is what it is. It's snug enough. But anyway, here's what we want. Got this circuit board. It's sitting on top there, and it doesn't appear to be screwed down in any way, shape, or form. It looks like the only thing holding this in place is, if I'm not mistaken, thermal paste. Which means that if I do that, okay, I have to figure out how to pop that thing off there. Alright, so the trick here is that you can see the red and black wires going to each connection. Well, they all have a red and black connection, so this is going to be really, really easy to screw up here. Okay, that one over the battery, that's easy enough. That's going to hover over the battery. It can only go in one way. See, 2 holes, 1 hole. There's only one way this circuit board can go on correctly. And it's got a microphone underneath right over here to pick up sounds. So it's only going to go on there one way, so that cord's pretty self-explanatory. It's these two that you want to be sure not to get screwed up. So, oh, and the wonderful thing is, the one that's on this side connects to the one on that side at the bottom, and the one on that side connects to the one on this side at the bottom. So that's extra lovely. So you got to make sure that when they go up, they cross. All right. That's easy enough. All right, let's see if we can pry this thing apart. Okay, now one thing when you're taking this apart, you see on the connector there's 2 little flaps. Those are little locks. You have to get under there and kind of pry them up, this one and this one up a little bit in order to get that loose. Okay, so I got this one free. So what I did is I just took the edge of a knife and I got it under that little lip and kind of got my knife blade in there, and I kind of dug it out a little bit, and then that one under there, and just kind of dug it out a little, just to wiggle it enough to get the flap up, and then this should just very gently wiggle right off. Okay, I'm going to do this with the other 2, and I'll be right back with you. All right, I now have it all disconnected, and I gotta tell you, whatever they used to lock this down with, they certainly did a good job. I'm here putting pressure on the circuit board, trying not to do too much because I don't want to screw up the circuit board, especially when it's just the diode that's bad. I might want to actually, get into my soldering and swap out that diode at some point. Yeah, that's a good little booger. So I'm going to pry on this a bit, see if I can't get it to give way. and it looks like it's working on it. So I'm going to work on this for a few minutes. Don't think I need to make you watch me struggle here, but what I would caution, and this is a layman's caution because I don't do this all the time, be gentle. Try not to break the old circuit board. You might need it. Just very gently go around it and apply pressure, and just little by little. Take your time. Be patient. That's my strategy, and I'm hoping it's going to work. Okay, I got it apart. And for cleaning up, I'm going to use some isopropyl alcohol and a microfiber cloth here. Just because that's the way on my research online, that's why I see people doing. They say do not use paper towels because you'll get fibers all over the place. So here I get to cleaning. And by cleaning, I mean just a dab on the cloth. I probably cut away too soon. Just kind of a little dab like that. All right, then I'm just going to clean it off the surface up here. I'm going to clean this up, and I'm going to put the thermal compound that I got at Radio Shack. Yes, we still have a Radio Shack in the area, and I'm going to mimic what they did when putting it all back together. And clean that grease off, and this looks like it's just the alcohol is not really doing a great job of getting that up. So this is just an aluminum chassis here, so I'm just kind of scraping it down, and then I'll come back with the alcohol once I got it all scraped off, and then I will clean it up. Okay guys, I have scraped my surface here, so I think the only thing that makes sense is to use my thermal paste, and I'm sure that's what that is. That's for dissipating the heat out of the bottom of that light. You see, all the connections are on the top here on the circuit board, so I think it's okay to ground that. So that's what I'm going to do, and I think the rest of this is just bonding. It's just glue. So, and what threw me off was the fact that it's colored, that those are all colored gray, like the color of thermal paste, and this was like a white grease. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the thermal paste right there. Now I need to bond the circuit board down as well. So, I got some rubber cement out in the garage. I'm going to put a dab of rubber cement there, and there. And there we go. And then I'm going to lock that down, and hopefully it'll all stay in place real nice and neat. At least that's my hope. So here I go. Okay, guys, I'm back. Just went out to the van, and I've got my Elmer's rubber cement here. Probably would rather have a better bonding agent. Got my my ceramic thermal compound from Radio Shack. Got it. Got it. All right, so here we've got our new circuit board. And I actually have tested this circuit board out a few months ago, and I made sure that it lit up properly and it went through all the colors. So pretty darn sure this one's good. Now I do notice the old antenna. This is the antenna, how it communicates through the remote control, and how they talk to each other actually. So I'm guessing the new circuit board, I probably ought to put a little bend in the antenna. A little hitch in the giddy up here. And if that presses against the lens, maybe it'll help kind of put some pressure down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look off the old circuit board. I'm going to turn this one the same way. And then I'm going to put cement in the same spots, and then the thermal paste in the correct spot. So I think I'm going to start with the thermal paste. Now everything has told me just to put a little pea size of it. Oh, hey, look. This thermal paste is white as well. Imagine that. I don't want to use too much. Okay, so there I've got my thermal paste and 3 little dollops of rubber cement. Elmer's rubber cement. I use Elmer's for freaking everything, folks. If we use it for foaming out cases, and there's really no good way to press this on here except just to kind of go like that. Just stick it right on there. Really the only thing you can do. Get it centered up here. And I guess you really need to kind of just press it into place. And probably clean up around the edges. I guess we'll pick this back up tomorrow. And I'm just going to let that sit overnight just like that and let the glue cure up. Then I'll wire it all back up and we'll see what we've got. Until then, folks, check you tomorrow morning. And just for the purposes of showing off, here's the 4 with the brand new circuit boards. And they're all working in perfect unison, as you can see. So there you go, and boom. And that's a wrap for now.